Every spring, there's a quiet moment that almost no one talks about. It doesn't happen when you're planting or harvesting. It happens in between, when everything looks like it should be working. But something isn't. You've done the setup right. Fresh seed trays, labeled rows, good soil, and careful watering. Maybe you even place them under grow lights or right by a bright window. From the outside, it looks perfect. Then the first signs of life appear. Tiny green shoots begin to push through the surface one by one. It feels like success. You lean in a little closer, maybe even count them. Tomatoes, peppers, herbs, they're waking up. But then something shifts, not all at once, just enough to make you pause and look closer. A few seedlings look thinner than the others, a little pale, a little slower. You tell yourself it's normal. Then, one morning, you notice something unexpected. A seedling that was standing yesterday is now lying flat. The stem looks almost as if it's been cut right at the base. Another one nearby is starting to lean. Suddenly, that tray you were excited about starts to feel uncertain. You water carefully. You check the light. And here's the frustrating part. Most of the time, you did nothing obviously wrong. It isn't just bad luck. What's happening is something deeper, something that starts long before you ever see green above the surface. The most fragile stage of a plant's life is right here, in the first days after a dry seed touches moisture. That moment when a seed decides whether to wake up, how fast to grow, and whether it can survive the soil. Most gardeners only see half the story. We focus on light and water, but beneath the surface, challenges begin. Some seeds never fully wake up. Others struggle to build roots. Some are overwhelmed by what's in the soil. When a seed goes into moist soil, it doesn't simply decide to grow. A complex biological sequence must unfold. The first challenge is dormancy. Many seeds carry internal signals that keep them in a suspended state. This is controlled by a hormone called abscisic acid, or ABA. Think of it as a built-in pause button. In nature, this prevents seeds from sprouting at the wrong time. But in your garden, it causes uneven starts. The longer a seed stays inactive, the more exposed it is to everything happening in the soil around it. The second challenge is early root development. The very first structure produced is a tiny root called the radicle. In cool or compacted soil, this root struggles. It cannot access the water and nutrients the seedling needs. This is why you see seedlings that look thin or pale. They are running on very limited resources. The third challenge is disease. Soil is full of life, bacteria and fungi, even in store-bought mixes. These pathogens cause damping off, where a seedling collapses right at the soil line overnight. The seedling is vulnerable because its tissues are soft. It hasn't had time to build its own defenses yet. By the time you see a problem above the soil, the most important part of the process has already passed. We need a way to support the seed at the very beginning, before these three challenges even unfold. Instead of reacting after problems appear, we begin to think about what happens before the seed even goes into the soil. That small window between a dry seed and a planted seed is where you can directly influence its future success. Think of this as a gentle priming process, creating a favorable environment for internal biological steps to begin. Our method uses 3 simple ingredients, each one connected to a different challenge the seed will face. One supports early root development, one helps the plant signal its internal defenses, and one nudges it out of dormancy. When combined, the goal isn't perfection, it's advantage. A seed that wakes up and establishes itself more reliably. These small differences in the first 2 weeks can carry forward in ways that are surprisingly visible later on. To be clear, this isn't a miracle guarantee. It won't revive dead seeds or replace the need for good soil and light. But it can improve conditions for older seeds, cooler soil, or environments where damping off is a common issue. This method is flexible. If you don't have every ingredient, parts of it can still be incredibly useful on their own. When used together, they form a balanced approach, each one addressing a different part of early-stage vulnerability. Let's go through each ingredient one by one, starting with something you've probably walked past many times: Willow. Let's start with a secret from the landscape itself. Willow trees have a remarkable ability to root and grow. This isn't just resilience, it's chemistry. Young willow growth contains natural hormones called auxins. Gardeners have used willow water for generations to help cuttings root, but it's just as powerful for seeds. It supports the radicle, that first tiny root, creating the best conditions for it to establish quickly. A stronger early root system means your plant can take in more water and nutrients later in the garden. To make it, collect young green or yellow willow branches. They should be flexible and smooth. Cut the branches into 1 to 2 inch pieces and lightly crush them to expose the useful inner tissues. Place them in a container and add room temperature water at a 4:1 ratio, 4 parts water to 1 part willow. Do not use boiling water. Heat can reduce the effectiveness of the natural compounds we want to preserve. Cover it loosely and let it steep for 48 to 72 hours. Let time do the work at room temperature. Strain out the plant material. You'll be left with a golden liquid. This is your powerful willow water base. Use it fresh or store it in the fridge for a short time. Now let's add the second ingredient from your medicine cabinet. Let's move to the second ingredient. And this is where things start to connect. Willow bark was used for medicine long before modern pharmacies existed. Scientists found that willow bark reduces fever, which eventually led to the development of what we now know as aspirin in our medicine cabinets. The active component of aspirin is closely related to salicylic acid, a molecule that plays an incredibly important role inside the tissues of plants. Plants don't have immune systems like animals, but they use salicylic acid as a key signaling molecule to recognize stress and respond to pathogens. When a plant detects a threat, this molecule triggers protective processes called systemic acquired resistance, or SAR, to harden the plant's defenses. By using a tiny amount of aspirin, we prime these early defense pathways, preparing the seedling for potential threats before they become overwhelming. This is vital because seedlings have soft tissues and limited ability to respond to soil-borne pathogens during their first 2 weeks of growth. For a full gallon of willow water, you only need one standard, plain, uncoated aspirin tablet, which is typically 325 milligrams. That's all you need. It's important that the tablet is uncoated. Enteric-coated or delayed-release products won't dissolve properly in room temperature water for your soak. Avoid gel capsules or combination formulas. A basic, inexpensive white aspirin tablet is exactly what you need to release the salicylic acid correctly. Give the tablet a few minutes to dissolve completely in your willow water. Stir gently, ensuring no solid pieces are left at the bottom of the container. Remember, with salicylic acid, subtlety is key. High concentrations can stress the seed, so keep the signal gentle to encourage healthy readiness. Now we come to the third ingredient, which acts at the very beginning of the entire process. The gateway to growth. Before roots form, the seed must make a fundamental shift from a dormant state into active growth. This is where hydrogen peroxide comes in. In plant biology, it acts as a powerful signaling molecule. It helps regulate cell processes and influences the balance between dormancy and growth signals inside the seed. It encourages the seed to wake up, especially if it's on the edge of staying dormant for too long. It also supports early metabolic activity, helping the seed convert stored energy into usable forms more efficiently. Enzymes become active, starches break down, and the embryo starts to expand within those first hours. Finally, it has a mild surface-level effect on microbes, reducing immediate pressure at the seed surface. Use the standard 3% hydrogen peroxide solution, commonly sold in pharmacies and grocery stores. Add just 1 to 2 tablespoons per gallon. Remember, in this method, stronger is definitely not better. High concentrations can damage the seed's delicate tissues, so stay with the simple 3% solution. Stir gently, and your 3-part solution is complete, each ingredient doing a different job for your seeds. Now let's bring everything together into a clear, step-by-step method you can follow precisely for your garden. Step 1 is preparing your willow water base. Gather 10 to 15 young willow twigs from fresh, flexible growth. Cut them into 1 to 2 inch pieces and lightly crush them to expose the inner tissue where the magic happens. Steep them in room temperature water at a 4:1 ratio for 48 to 72 hours, then strain it. Step 2. Measure 1 gallon of your strained willow water and add 1 plain, uncoated 325 mg aspirin tablet. Give it time to dissolve completely. Stir gently and make sure there are no visible pieces left at the bottom. Step 3. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of standard 3% hydrogen peroxide. Stir again gently to finish the mix. Step 4 is soaking the seeds. Place them into the solution and ensure they are fully submerged in the liquid. Let the seeds soak for about 12 to 24 hours. For most gardeners, an overnight soak is the easiest approach. Avoid soaking them too long. Seeds still need oxygen, and extended soaking can actually damage the germination process. Step 5 is planting. Remove the seeds and plant them immediately into your prepared soil or seed starting mix. Do not let them dry out after soaking. Move directly from the soak to the soil to keep the growth process moving. For very small seeds like lettuce or carrots, shorten the soak to 4 to 6 hours or mist the soil instead. For pelleted seeds, it's best not to soak them at all, as the coating is designed to dissolve gradually in the soil. This solution is best used fresh. Once peroxide is mixed with willow water, it begins to break down over time. Discard any excess mixture. If you have plain willow water left over, that can be stored or frozen for later use. This process is simple and requires very little active work, but it influences the earliest stage of your plant's life. Now that you know how to use the soak, the next question is, where does it actually make a difference? The seeds that respond the most are older seeds. Every seed loses its viability over time, even if stored properly. In these cases, a pre-soak like this can help even things out and encourage a much more consistent start. Another group that benefits are hard-coated seeds, like beans, peas, parsley, or cilantro. The soak helps soften that thick outer shell, allowing moisture to move in more evenly for germination. Seeds going into cooler soil can also benefit, reducing the time they spend in a vulnerable state. Gardens with a history of damping off will also find this method helpful for early seedling resilience. However, fresh, high-quality seeds in warm soil will often germinate reliably enough on their own. For very small seeds, reduce the soaking time or simply mist the soil after planting instead. Pelleted seeds should be left untreated, as soaking can disrupt the balance of their special coating. Use this method where it adds value, making it a selective and powerful tool in your process. What should you actually expect once you start using this method? It's important to have realistic goals. This soak is not a shortcut to perfection, but it shifts the starting conditions in your favor early on. The first thing you may notice is timing. Soaked seeds often germinate a day or two sooner than others. This creates a more uniform tray, making it much easier to manage your light and watering schedules. You'll see better consistency, especially with older seeds that might otherwise have patchy results. As they develop, look for structural differences, thicker stems, deeper green color, and more stable growth. These plants are better anchored because their early root systems are taking in nutrients more efficiently. You may also see better survival rates in environments prone to damping off during the first 2 weeks. Remember, this isn't immunity. Good airflow and proper watering are still essential for your success. By the time you reach the transplant stage, you'll likely have sturdier plants with fewer setbacks. This method improves reliability. A plant that starts strong is more likely to perform well all season. Observation is key. Watch how they emerge and grow. Consistency is what leads to success over time. Before you try this method, let's look at common mistakes. A few small missteps can make it far less effective. Avoid using hot water for your willow extract. Heat reduces the activity of the compounds we need. Don't use coated or delayed release aspirin. They won't dissolve evenly in room temperature water. And never add more than 1 tablet per gallon. More is not better. It increases the risk of stressing the seed. Stick to the standard 3% hydrogen peroxide. Stronger concentrations can damage delicate tissues. Watch your timing. Soaking for too long reduces oxygen and can slow or even damage germination. Once the soak is complete, plant immediately. Letting seeds dry out now can interrupt the activation process. Don't rely solely on the soak. Clean containers and proper airflow are still essential parts of the system. Remember to adjust for small seeds and avoid pelleted seeds entirely to keep their coatings intact. Always use a fresh mixture. Once combined, the hydrogen peroxide begins to break down in the organic liquid. Finally, test it for yourself. A side-by-side comparison is the best way to see the impact in your garden. Avoiding these mistakes makes the method consistent, allowing small advantages to show up in your growth. This method is about giving your seeds the most stable beginning possible. It turns a fragile start into a resilient one. By understanding the hidden challenges below the surface, we can work with nature to improve our results over time. This is a traditional gardening technique. Results may vary depending on your specific climate and seed quality. This method is not a substitute for proper soil, light, and water care, nor is it a commercial or medical guarantee. I encourage you to experiment with a small batch first. See the difference for yourself and adjust to your needs. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to Perma to Plate and share your results in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video as we grow a more resilient world together. Happy planting.